anxiety. I have a long history with having and overcoming anxiety, and I want to talk through this because I think the way most people are coping with or quote unquote solving their anxiety issues are pretty skewed and pretty twisted today. So I want you to be able to walk away from this episode with real, tangible advice, ideas, concepts, dynamics to work with in your own mind so that you can overcome and be friends with your own mind instead of having it be such a pain. So when I was in middle school, I was in sixth grade, 12 years old, rising up into middle school from elementary for the first time, seeing what this whole transition was like. I went to the same school all the way up until fifth grade, obviously, and making this transition, I was so nervous. You go to the open house and you're seeing all these new people, and this school was about 12 times bigger than my elementary school, so very overwhelming, but kind of in a normal way. I was so anxious, but I can't say it was in this overtaking my mind and consuming kind of way. It was more just, wow, I've never experienced something like this. Let's see how this goes. So the first few days, first few weeks of middle school, I was kind of what you would expect. I was just going in, doing my thing, getting my work done, staying pretty quiet, not super involved, because when I'm involved in something very new like that, especially when I was young, I was very kind of reserved. So a lot of just observation. Now, I had this science class, and the teacher, Mr. O, Mr. Osterstrom or something like that. He was this teacher that everybody loved. He was funny, kind of just had that cool sort of attitude, real chill, laid back. If kids kind of messed around, it wasn't some sort of ultra strict environment. So Mr. O was this cool-ass teacher. And I remember just gathering the data on this, realizing that, okay, this guy's pretty sweet. And a little background here. In school, I was just the rule follower like you wouldn't believe, finished every single assignment, did the straight A's and passed the tests and all that crap. Not because I loved it, I actually hated it more than anything, but if I was going to be there, why not exist in some excellence? And so there was this one day where I came into Mr. O's class and he was collecting a homework assignment that somehow slipped through the cracks. Not a very common thing, but somehow it happened. And I didn't know why the hell it happened, but it did. And he's coming around collecting the papers, and knowing that he was kind of this funny, chill teacher, I go, oh, I don't know how, but I literally forgot to do this homework assignment, or I didn't even know that we had it. And kind of laughed and had that fun lightheartedness in my presentation of the reality. And in this moment, I saw this teacher flip. And, I don't even remember the exact statement because I think I was so overwhelmed by kind of the emotional container of it. But he wasn't laughing at all. He wasn't smiling at all. He wasn't happy at all in that moment. And to me, when somebody is a certain way and you get to know that of them, and then on a dime they flip, that is a very, very scary characteristic. So in that moment, I received years worth of anxiety and a mind that now resorted to worry as the foundation instead of clarity as the foundation. This fight or flight dynamic, I got very familiar with flying. And anything that presented that same kind of stress or switch up or uncertainty was a fear that I did not want to overcome at all. So I spent the rest of my school career having probably the most toxic relationship with being in school. Now, can I say that all of it was this teacher's fault and that moment's fault? Maybe not, because I think that the actual dynamic of school itself is horrifically toxic. It is made to disempower you. It's made to have you fall in line and be just like everybody else. And I happen to be one of those kids that could not mesh with that one bit. And so I think that mixed with this moment that was such a harsh kind of onboarding of emotions for me really set me up for an interesting mind to overcome. Because I think anxiety and all of these overthinking kind of tendencies, they come from a cool place, and I want to get into that too. But it's not perfectly plugged into a school system. So I had certain categories of confidence in myself because I had spent so much time with myself growing up, spent a lot of alone time, learned how to entertain myself, learned how to kind of talk myself through things. And I remember being really little, and I would just be shooting this basketball on one of those door basketball hoop things. And I realized that I would be wagering all the time. Everything I would do, I'd say, oh, if I do this, I'll get $1 million, or if I do this, then this will happen. And realizing those sides of my mind was really cool. But then all of that confidence, all of that clarity and self-awareness got completely corrupted when it came to school. And then school kind of turned that into really anything that was uncertain or scary. I played soccer a ton growing up, and I would go to these tryouts, and my performance went down probably 40 to 50% because I was so nervous, so afraid. I couldn't count on myself to calm me down. I couldn't count on anything to kind of be my safety net except escaping the situation and calling my freaking mom. So this, again, set me up for a very interesting journey of trying to overcome this. Now, every day I would go into school. I mean, the feeling was visceral. And if you have struggled with anxiety or compulsive thinking or depression, anything in that realm, you know how threatening those feelings can be. I remember being in the carpool line every single morning. Some of those mornings of which I did not get out of the car because I couldn't go, and I refused to get out of the damn back seat of the car. So you can imagine how frightening and non-fun that would be. But it literally felt like, if you've seen the Hunger Games, when they're at I think it's the reaping or whatever, they say Primrose Everdeen. And you just hear the little girl just start to scream and freak out. I'm going, dude, that was me. I watched that movie and I'm going, holy shit, bro. That's what it was like going to school every day for me. Now, of course, I wasn't going into battle to fight for my life, but it kind of feels that way. And I think now that we don't have physical survival really involved in our existence, that emotional survival does overtake that. It feels incredibly threatening, life-threatening. And that is not a fun place to be. So I think it's important to talk about what is anxiety. What I think it is a pretty freaking reasonable trait that got heavily perverted by the modern world. So historically, anxiety would probably be something along the lines of keeping an eye out for an animal that's going to attack you. Or you're sleeping at night and you hear a little thing in the woods and you go, shoot, let me be alert. And so it's a readiness, it's a preparedness for bad things that might happen. And there's huge utility in that because historically speaking, bad things did often happen. But in the modern world, again, this trait has been perverted because we don't actually have those kinds of worries that anxiety really plugs in well to. But the reason I say reasonable trait is because, yeah, it worked. It makes sense. It's in our DNA, in a sense, to kind of scan for threats. But yeah, not really the right version of that is taking place today. And I think it's because most people are not exercising any kind of physical survival. Oddly enough, in today's world, we have to simulate physical survival to kind of find that mental baseline. But I don't think a lot of people are going to that because, man, if you're not looking for some sort of magic pill, then gosh, you're not even a part of today's world. We've been conditioned to think that I feel a certain way. There must be something that I can buy, essentially, to get rid of this feeling instead of sitting with the feeling, understanding it, processing it, and then knowing more about yourself. But that's work. People are very work resistant in today's world. Not working like your job, which, gosh, that can be all the way in distraction land. I'm talking about the real work of sitting with yourself and nothing but yourself and going, okay. So a reasonable trait that's been perverted by the modern world. So anxiety, there's kind of an identity piece to this. So when I was really struggling with this, I would base who I am as a person on worrying. I would advertise the fact that I worry all the time. And what is this? It's a cry for help. Literally, it's a cry for help. I'm saying I worry all the time. There's nothing I can do about it. This is me. I've just been prescribed with this sort of feeling. I'm helpless. I'm hopeless. What do I do about it? Somebody please come save me. That's the feeling. And this isn't just anxiety specific. That's the freaking human experience in the modern world today, is somebody please come save me, because again, we have been conditioned to think that somebody's going to come save us. The fact that nobody's going to come save us isn't actually bad news, but we have to learn to appreciate the responsibility, and it's really, really difficult to learn that. We often have to go through things like these long spells of years and years of anxious feelings, depression, whatnot, because that's just the recipe of today. So, this identity of all I do is worry. All I'm thinking about is that it's Friday, and then 2 days from now is Sunday, and the day after Sunday is Monday, and Monday means I'm going to school. And then I have 5 more days or 4 more days in the week of going to school after that. And then it'll be cool on Friday afternoon when I get out of school, but then it'll be Saturday, and I have 1 day until Sunday again, where Sunday is the day before Monday, and Monday is when I have to go. You see what I'm getting at? This is the pattern of thinking. And it's scary because you are living every other place on every other timeline than the present moment. And that is just not a healthy way to live whatsoever. I was talking to the philosophy club group that we host on Saturdays, and we were speaking about rituals, and I brought up the daily ice bath that I do, and the fact that a lot of people can perceive I have to do this every day no matter what, essentially for the rest of my life as far as I'm concerned. They perceive that as a trap. Oh my gosh, every day for the rest of your life. But really the utility of placing it at that kind of priority, it's forcing me to be present. There's no other option than to be present. Because if I'm trying to kind of take on the stress of the rest of my life and worry so far in advance, well, it's actually no more useful to do that, to plan in that kind of way, than to just be in the day that I'm in. Because if every day following today is going to consist of that same responsibility, well, let tomorrow's self deal with tomorrow's version of that responsibility. Let the 10 years from now self on whatever random day deal with the responsibilities of that random day. Today, I've just got that responsibility one time. Let me bring this thinking all the way back to this 24 hours, because I can't do shit for all the other 24 hours that I'm going to experience. And so to me, it's not really a trap. It is a very true reflection of the way I think life is supposed to be, where we're not trying to escape the responsibility. The responsibility remains because life is hard. So we are forced to be present. There is no other option than to be that way. So the interesting thing about the anxious mind is that it's not just one layer of worrying about a thing. You then start to worry about the fact that you're going to worry about the thing. So it's 2 layers. And I mean, I'm no scientist by any means, but I want to say this is the case in every case. Because essentially the worry about the thing could easily be dissolved. Oh, I'm worried about going to school. Okay, well, yeah, you're not in actual danger. It's not threatening. Okay, we can just overcome the practical element of what we might be worrying about, but then it's the fact that you can't count on your own mind to be a safe place. So then it creates that second layer of worry. And again, this is very scary to experience because ideally within yourself, you feel a sense of security. You feel a sense of certainty and confidence and faith and belief. When that's the case, you can do anything. Responsibility isn't scary. Communicating with people doesn't feel threatening. Overcoming difficult things doesn't feel like the worst project in the world because you can have that conversation with yourself, and you can be very comfortable in doing so. You build this hero mentality within yourself, and being I don't know, being consumed by this anxious mind. Oh my gosh, it's the complete opposite of that. You go, I can't count on myself for a damn thing. I don't know how I'm going to react tomorrow when I'm in the carpool line at school. I don't know how I'm going to react when I've got to face this difficult thing that I'm afraid of. Am I going to do it? Or am I going to run away because I can't handle the stress of that? That is the biggest hit to your confidence. That is the biggest hit to the sense of self, because that is literally the sense of self dissolving, and you cannot carry out a life that you're proud of and happy with and fulfilled by when that is the case. I do want to quickly mention that I coach people on exactly this. I teach people to become ridiculously confident and self-disciplined, because those two characteristics are the foundation for anything that you want to achieve. So if you would like to become that version of yourself, you can click the link in the show notes or description of the episode and book a call with me to talk about and discover how exactly I can help you get there. That said, what to do mentally about having this anxious mind? We have to have some takeaways, some things to actually practice here. This I could not be more passionate and adamant about what I'm about to say here. Judgment-free observation. So I talked about the double layer of worrying, the double layer of anxiety. That second top layer that's added is the judgment, is the fear, is the pressure created for yourself, from yourself, about the way that you think. Once you release that, then you can actually work on the practical, the more approachable. Okay, what am I worrying about here? But when you're stuck in this double butting heads with yourself kind of anxiety and thinking, you can't have that clarity at all. So don't bear the bad thoughts and your frustration with them. Have the bad thoughts and fully allow them. Do not judge them. Because you know what you can't do all the time? Control your thoughts. If I tell you right now, do not think about a red umbrella. Oh, what's in your mind right now? A red umbrella. Stop thinking about it. No, stop. Stop thinking about the red umbrella. Don't do it. Come on, stop thinking about a red umbrella. And it's the only thing that you can think of and picture in your mind. This is what this second layer of anxiety is like. The second tier worrying. Don't worry. Don't freak out. Oh no, we're freaking out. Why would this happen? I'm never going to get out of this. Of course I would respond this way. When we can remove that kind of judgment, then there is space to actually work from. So the way that I do this, and the way that I advise you to do this, is become absolutely tireless when it comes to kindly redirecting your mind. Emphasis on kindly. The redirect. If I were to be thinking and overthinking about something and it's kind of consuming me, my little verbal cue that I use for myself is okay. What okay means is I'm recognizing that my mind is going 1,000,000 miles an hour in a direction that maybe I don't like. I refuse to overjudge or really judge that at all. I'm just going to allow it to happen. So okay is the recognition. Okay. So I'm taking that in. And then I am kindly redirecting my mind to something else. Okay, let's go over here. And if a split second later I'm back in the same exact place, okay, let's redirect over here. And if a split second after that I'm back in the same exact place, okay. It is a tireless willingness to kindly redirect yourself. If you have that thought 149 times, and on 150 you go, I can't take it, and you start judging yourself and you fall back into that place, you are not tireless. You are not approaching your own redirect with enough capacity and endurance. You have to have more mental endurance to say, if I have this thought 100,000 times, I'm going to say, okay, that makes sense. This is totally reasonable that I would be thinking about this. I'm worried about it. Absolutely fine. Nothing to judge of myself. I'm not angry about this whatsoever. Fully resonate with with freaking out in this way. And okay. And let's think about something else. If you're not willing to do that 100,001 times, if you have the thought 100,000 times, then you're not doing it right. Be freaking tireless with the kind redirect, because you can't beat yourself up over it anymore. You can't butt heads with yourself over it anymore, because that's just going to inflate the problem. So have the thought 100,000 times, kindly redirect 100,001 times, and if you have the thought again, kindly redirect again. You're going to dissolve this judgment. You're going to dissolve this second layer of anxiety, and you'll probably find that most of the worry is actually in that tier of it, and not in the practical worry. It's the fight with the self that is truly creating the worry, and it might be tied to a certain thing, like it was for me. It was tied to the school situation, but I mean the battle was within, for sure. When you can access the fuck it attitude, use it. So I can't exactly pinpoint it perfectly with myself, but sometimes I just get in this mood where I recognize that life's a freaking game. It's all a simulation. Who cares? And it gives me just this, I wouldn't say fake, but it's almost this little fabricated burst of confidence and ability to just kind of overcome some fears, almost do it sarcastically. So the fuck it attitude, you have this huge built up anxiety about talking to strangers or approaching someone that you're attracted to. If and when you feel that energy come up where you go, whatever, you just throw your hands up and you go, this world isn't even real. What am I worried about? If you can tap into that for a second, even act like somebody else that you've witnessed being that kind of way, use it. Absolutely use it. And this can also come up as a result of being just tired of being so high strung and worried and anxious about every single thing. You might find a point while you're eating freaking lunch one day and you go, dude, screw all this bullshit, and you just drop your shoulders. And maybe it lasts for 10 minutes and then you get back to that overthinking. But when you can find these gaps, when you can find these little spurts of the fuck it energy, use that. Don't just sit there and observe it. Use it. Again, if it's the social fluency thing, go talk to the person. Go do the thing. Whatever the thing means for you, go do it when you can access that energy. Otherwise, you are in constant work to remove your own self-judgment of the thoughts that scare you or intimidate you. This is the real skillful mind. Now, practically speaking, there's a couple things that I would encourage you to try that are pure exercise for your mind. What do you think I'm going to say here? Cold exposure. I'm in this ice bath every single morning for the specific reason that sitting in cold water presents the fight or flight option right in your face. You can't miss it. You go, I hate this cold water, don't want to be in here. Do I stay in here and control my breathing and control my mind, or do I get out? So imagine you choose to stay in there and control your mind every single day for 100 days, 500 days, 1,000 days. You are going to be unrecognizable because you are exercising your ability to stay in the fight. The power of staying is more valuable than perhaps anything. Because any difficult thing, any form of discipline, any form of being confident, betting on yourself, etc., this is the power of staying. You feel the stress, you feel the overwhelm, you feel intimidated, and you go, and you remain. What a powerful freaking thing. Meditation. What I really see this as is the pure observation of the mind without playing into the mind. Rather, the observation of the thoughts and not playing into the thoughts. So you can zoom out and you can watch your thinking from a third person like it's a little movie reel going by you. You say, oh, there's me thinking about, the marathon that I got to do. Whatever you're anxious about, right? There I am thinking about it. Okay, this is where we're putting that redirect into play, just in a more specific kind of focused way. There I am thinking about it. Okay, and you watch it go by. And then that shit comes right back around. Okay, and then you watch it go by. Once you can zoom out far enough and get into observation mode with your thoughts instead of pure feeling mode with your thoughts, you're going to find that those thoughts do not define you and they're not going to be as threatening. You'll hear your brain going, oh God, what if I friggin' break my leg on mile 3 of the marathon and I've been training all this time and blah, blah, blah. And you just go, oh yeah. There I would be thinking about that, right? Of course. And then you let it go. And then another worried thought comes and you zoom out and you watch it go by and you let it go. Eventually, it will not be 100 miles an hour. Bad thoughts going through your mind constantly. Bad thought comes up, you go, yeah, okay, very well. And then it moves along. This is the skill set. This is everything. Sauna. Sauna is a great one. Maybe more enjoyable than cold exposure, in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, cold exposure kind of fires you up, and it's just this crazy visceral sort of thing. The sauna is a bit more of a slow burn, if you will, but it puts you in that mindset, again, of having to stay. It's another element to kind of remain in the face of. I heard that the chemical reaction in your brain when you want to get out of a sauna so bad is the same. It's the same reaction that an alcoholic has in their mind when they want to drink and they're trying not to, kind of thing. So whenever I'm just baking in the sauna and I got a few minutes left, I'm like, dude, just, I would never reach for the drink, so I'm not getting out of this freaking sauna. No. It's just a good way to put your mind up under the microscope and go, all right, well, I got to stay in here. Don't want to. I'm fighting it. But if I freak out and let myself go off the rails mentally, I'm not going to be able to make it. So I've got to collect myself. I've got to be on my own team here. It is not a force kind of attitude. It is an allowance and then a calming. Oh, I got to get out. I got to get out. Yep. Totally makes sense. Totally struggling here. Really, really hot. Having a difficult time. Breathing is tough. Okay. And then we let it go. The last thing here, no phone dinner. I say it at the end of every podcast. I should probably say it at the beginning of every podcast, so we all start doing it. But look, if you're eating your meal at the end of the day, and you can just put all the technology shit away, put the phone away, put the iPad away, close the damn computer, turn the TV off, quit playing music, just learn to sit with yourself. We're talking about the ice bath and the sauna and all these difficult things, but I would say for most of the population, it's going to be hard to just sit at the freaking table and breathe and eat a meal. So the time spent with yourself is going to be less and less scary the more time you spend with yourself. Practice it. It's not visceral. It is intentional. You might be bouncing your leg a little bit and kind of antsy because you don't have the phone to look at, you don't have the thing to do. But sometimes the best thing that you can do is absolutely nothing. And very few people are doing that today. So these are some real tangible things that you could try out today. If you've been struggling with anxiety for years and years and you've never jumped into a cold shower, turn that sumbug on cold and jump in there and just feel something different. And I promise you're going to go, whoa, what the hell is that? Because I am not used to my mind existing in this space. The first time I tried an ice bath, I was maybe a year after my biggest breakup, long-term relationship ending kind of thing. And it was the center of my universe. It was all I could think about. And I got in that cold plunge and I couldn't think about it. I was trying to think about the stress and just this universe of thinking about the relationship and what went wrong and blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't do it. Couldn't, even if I tried. For anybody that's been anxious or compulsive in their thinking for a long time, you go, how? I've never tried and it's all I think about. And you flip the script in 30 seconds. Pretty powerful stuff. So look, this problem, this mental battle, this is something very near and dear to me because I have specifically dealt with and overcome this in my own life. And so bringing this information, really trying to condense this down to something truly helpful, meaningful, and tangible, especially with some of these last examples, it's really important to me. If you have any questions, need any guidance in this realm, again, please reach out. I try to be a humble person, but in helping people overcome these things to become unbelievably confident and disciplined, I'm really freaking good at it. And I have wild faith that anybody that wants to get there in their life absolutely can. So please let me know. If you are listening on Spotify, make sure to comment so I can hear what you think. I'd love to hear from you guys. And leave a 5-star rating. That would be awesome. If you're watching on YouTube, click subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. Leave a like if you liked or loved it. Comment what you thought because I want to hear from you on YouTube as well. Let's see here. On my newsletter, I write about most of the things that I talk about. So if you like to read some things twice a week, and we'll say in addition to hearing me yap, because you still got to hear me yap. What the heck? Can't just read my shit. Subscribe to my newsletter. Link to do so will be in the show notes or description. Free. I send it twice a week. It's a fun deep dive. I like to try and condense the thinking and the long-term speaking into some more concise writing sometimes. So really just trying to put out as much value as I possibly can, and I hope you get some value out of it. And like I mentioned, no phone dinner. You have to. If you're listening to my voice right now, you're going, damn, I probably should do the no phone dinner. Not even probably. What the hell? Absolutely. So look, I hope you have an incredible day. I hope that if you've struggled with the things I've mentioned in this podcast, that you can start improving on that, overcoming that, becoming friends with yourself and happy with your own mind today. Please be good. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.